7:51 here, Big 550 KTRS. Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder has been on the show many times, and he's back again. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for joining us on a Thursday morning.
Thank you for having me.
Noranda is a company that a lot of people have not heard about, but it could affect their energy bills. First, tell us what this company does and why it's so important.
McGraw, located in New Madrid County in the Boot Heel, one of the poorest counties in the state and surrounded by other very poor counties. Noranda was a huge find for industrial recruiters in the late 60s, and it is an aluminum smelter. They smelt aluminum as they process aluminum for all kinds of and product. And so, it is the largest energy consumer of any industry in the state, in any factory, or it's the largest. And it is so because the process of smelting aluminum is enormously energy intensive. So, energy is their biggest cost, bigger than personnel. And they're very sensitive to power costs. Now, I hail from the southeast part of the state, as you know, so I had a long history of being familiar with Noranda and their needs. And 12 years ago, I was President Pro Tem of the Senate when I was first getting to know you. And Noranda came to me as the leader of the Senate and said, we are in desperate trouble with a 30% or higher increase overnight in our energy costs, and we need some legislative relief. Now, we're talking about 1,000 jobs in southeast Missouri in this impoverished part of the Boot Heel. And so I responded to them back in 2003 and tried to move heaven and earth, and we did pass a bill giving them the best situation for an energy consumer of any consumer in the state. They got the right to shop when other customers of Ameren could not, and to go for the lowest cost in energy. Okay? Mm-hmm. That deal has been in place for 12 years now. Noranda has been sold at least once. The company has been sold. Today it is owned by New York hedge funds, and they are saying their energy costs are too high, and they're asking for I would call it special interest relief from the Public Service Commission, which is the body in state government that regulates utilities. And Ameren is opposing them, and I'm opposing them this time, having delivered for them 12 years ago and saved them more than a decade of those jobs back in 2003. I am opposing this new request as an unreasonable request because it would come on the backs of energy consumers in our state.
Explain that. Explain that for a second. If you cut Noranda's energy rate, someone's going to have to pay the difference, and you're saying that it's going to fall on the backs of the rest of us.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to fall on the backs of senior citizens. It's going to fall on the backs of needy consumers who have trouble and struggle paying their utility bills. And I am a board member and have been for something like 10 years of a charity in St. Louis called Heat Up St. Louis. And we do volunteer fundraising. We do that morning with Hardee's Biscuit every February.
Right.
And raise many, many hundreds of thousands of dollars to help poor folks with their utility bills, heating in the winter and cooling in the summer, as the season indicates. Now, Governor Jay Nixon came out in favor of this special interest deal for Noranda, and I thought somebody in state government should speak up for the rest of energy consumers in our state and say, we've already helped Noranda. They're now owned by billionaire New York hedge funds. It's not the Noranda that I grew up knowing about in southeast Missouri, and they're asking ratepayers and senior citizens and needy folks across the state to subsidize one energy consumer, and that's just wrong.
Jay Nixon has come out and sent a letter to the Public Service Commission, I guess endorsing and or encouraging them to cut Noranda's energy rate, correct?
Yes, he has, and it was that letter that I guess dropped late last week that prompted my letter of a couple of days ago to Governor Nixon, and I'm going to be writing the Public Service Commission as well and saying Noranda has already been helped. Back in 2003, they've been operating under an extraordinary agreement that we were able to get through the legislature. They've had enormous assistance. They're not entitled to any more that would shove their costs on the backs of senior citizens who have trouble heating their homes.
Do you think if KTRS asked the Public Service Commission to cut our energy rates, would they be apt to do that? And would Governor Nixon encourage them to do that for us?
To ask the question is almost to answer it, McGraw. It's laughable.
Do any other companies, bigger companies, get the same benefit that Noranda got or is asking for?
That is correct. Great question. The answer is no. Anheuser-Busch does not get this. Emerson doesn't get it. Express Scripts doesn't get it. No other company that I'm aware of in Missouri law gets the deal that Noranda got in 2003, and we were responsive to their needs then. We cannot be responsive to every demand that they make. This far and no further.
Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, what should the people do? Is there a place to call or write or fax or email?
They can write the Public Service Commission. You can Google Missouri Public Service Commission, get their email address, and let yourself be heard from.
Well, we have just a minute with you, Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder. There are rumblings that you're thinking about running for governor.
I said last week that I am giving very humble and prayerful consideration to entering the race for governor. Right now, it seems we have candidates from only one part of the state in the race, and I think Missourians may want to hear a broader debate and a greater range of choices than is currently now in the race. So I'm out there. I was in southwest Missouri yesterday at the dedication of the Missouri Vietnam Veterans Memorial down at College of the Ozarks, south of Branson, and had a lot of encouragement there, and I'm hearing that encouragement wherever I go, but I don't have any timetable for this decision as to whether I actually enter the race. I am prayerfully and humbly considering it, McGraw, and thank you for your encouragement.
Where are you in the election cycle? Would you still be lieutenant governor, or would you have to run for that or give up that seat?
I'm up next year, so it would be up. It would be.
So you have to choose between running for lieutenant governor, and or not running at all.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, you're always welcome here. Just next time you're in the studio, do not knock over any of the cameras.